Hey, what's going on everyone? Justin here, and in this video I want to share the books that I'm going to try to read during this year's BioBlitz reading event. So for those who don't know what it is, which is probably a lot of people because I have done minimal effort to promote this and everything, for those who don't know, I'm running a year-long science reading initiative kind of thing. So I got a Discord down below, it's free to join and all, and we just kind of talk about, the whole idea is just talking about and reading different science books throughout the year, and in quarter one, which is the first 3 months of the year, biology is kind of like the main scientific focus, but any science books really are cool. But what I try to do is each quarter have like a good week or 10-day span there at the end of a month to try to really focus in as like a readathon kind of reading event. And for this year, it's going to be February 21 through 28, and I call it the BioBlitz because a real BioBlitz is usually like a timed event or a group of people will scour a local area or something like that, looking for all the different, trying to identify as many species and individuals as they can for different kinds of organisms and whatnot. So I figured kind of with that idea, trying to read some biology themed books during that week. So I got a couple of short-ish ones I'm going to try to crank out. I've done not super great. I've only read 2 science books so far this year, so I feel like this will be a good chance for me to catch up. Let's go on, just get right into it. I feel like I've kind of rambled on already. So first up, we got one of my favorite, tied with Carl Safina, I think is my favorite nature author. We got Bernd Heinrich's White Feathers, The Nesting Lives of Tree Swallows. So I love Bernd Heinrich. He's done a lot of writing and experiments and things and from his off-the-grid cabin in the Maine woods. He was also a professor, I can't remember if it was New Hampshire or Vermont, University of Vermont, I think it was. But he's like, a lot of his research and stuff was just kind of like in his local area, which is super cool because I'm in the backwoods of rural Maine as well. So I don't know, I just have a really soft spot for his, and his writing is really well done. But anyways, this one is all about him studying some tree swallows during one season. They just piqued his interest. So just reading a little bit here from the cover, or the inside dust jacket. One early spring day, Bernd Heinrich is sparked by a question. Why does a pair of swallows in a nest box close to his main cabin show an unvarying preference for white feathers, not easily available nearby to line their nest? He notices, too, the extreme aggressiveness of his swallows towards some other swallows of their own kind, and he wonders, given swallows' reputation for feistiness, at the extraordinary tameness and close contact he experiences with his nesting birds. You know, from the author of the beloved book Ravens in Winter and A Naturalist at Large, this richly engaging view of the lives of wild birds is illustrated with the author's own drawings and photographs. So you can see, like right here, you know, like some of his own like little drawings and stuff like that. So I think it's gonna be fun. I don't know much in particular about tree swallows, but I love his writing. You know, Maine tree swallows, why not learn more about them, you know, stuff like that. Next up is Desert Solitaire by Edward Abbey. So this definitely, I think, was kind of the book everyone kind of encouraged me to read in one of my latest nature videos. I don't know why I haven't read him yet. Like, I've read probably, there's got to be 20 instances of him being referenced or some of his passages being quoted in other nature books that I've read. But it's basically like the desert southwestern version of Aldo Leopold's Sand County Almanac or something like that. He was a park ranger I think in Utah, I think was his primary focus, if I remember correctly. But it's just him kind of reflecting on like the desert landscape and kind of his musings on, you know, how destructive like modern life is and corporations and stuff like that. He was quite eccentric. Even like his death and burial, there's a whole like, you should just go look it up. It's a whole to do and everything. But like I said, he was a pretty cool guy. Was very blunt and told you how it is and everything. But loved the natural world, especially kind of like I said, his kind of expertise in these kind of southwestern arid desert landscapes and stuff like that. So I need to get reading on it. I don't know why I haven't read it yet, so this is like the perfect, this is probably going to be the one I start with. And it's not crazy long either, I think it's about 250 pages, so I should be able to get through that as well. Next up, we have one that I've been meaning to read. It's The Darkness Manifesto on Light Pollution, Night Ecology, and the Ancient Rhythms That Sustain Life by Johann Eckloff, translated by Elizabeth de Noma. So this is all about, you know, light pollution and all the different kind of ecosystems that really, or I guess how ecosystems change like during the night and how they're thriving, or either thriving or probably not thriving is probably what I'm guessing, due to like light pollution and that sort of thing. But you know, tons of different stuff come out, you know, all the different bugs and moths and stuff like that, as well as bats, and I'm sure there's probably lots of other things that I don't know about, so I'm really like kind of looking forward to reading this one. But light pollution really does cause a lot of problems in different ecosystems and whatnot. The one that always sticks with me, I grew up and lived in Florida for about a decade, is sea turtles. When they lay their eggs and stuff, usually they hatch at night and they go towards the light, which is usually like by the water and everything. That's kind of instinctually where the baby turtles go. But due to light pollution, sometimes they get all confused and go every which way and the wrong way and stuff like that. So light pollution does have an effect on everything, and I read a little bit about it too, as far as like astronomy and finding like locales for doing astronomy and stuff like that. But I haven't read one for like I said, based on like night ecosystems. So like this one's pretty short as well. I think this one's only about like 200-ish pages. Feel like I'm hoping I can get through all 4. Maybe if I push myself, but probably 2.5 is probably what's going to happen. But like I said, this one sounds really cool too, and it's on a topic I've heard of, but don't know a whole lot about. And then lastly is a book that St. Martin's Press was able to send me an early copy of, so thank you to them for that. And it's When the Earth Was Green: Plants, Animals, and Evolution's Greatest Romance by Riley Black. She wrote a book called The Last Days of the Dinosaurs a couple years ago that was pretty famous, and this is her new release, and this is all about the symbiotic relationships between plants and animals over the long kind of macro scale of I was gonna say human time, but not of human time, of living kind over planet Earth and stuff. And it actually, there is quite a bit between, you know, for example, the Great Oxidation Event, when the first kind of like photosynthesizing organisms kind of started get going and everything, and how that kind of probably caused a global mass extinction and stuff, until like living or animals and plants kind of we're able to kind of come up with a balance between, you know, our respiratory system, so them using the CO2 and us using the oxygen, stuff like that, kind of in balance. So I think that's going to be really cool. And I think it's all about the different kind of ecosystems that plants are able to create over different time periods. Like, for example, look up like the Carboniferous period, kind of one of the early like plant dominant time periods in Earth's history. The plants were just totally different and everything, and that's where a lot of like our coal and stuff kind of comes from. As like those like layers weren't been able to be broken down like quickly enough and stuff like that. But anyways, it just sounds like a really cool topic, and I love the cover there. So it even has one of my favorites, a little dragonfly there, so you know, can't go wrong with that. And like I said, thank you to St. Martin's Press for sending me that one as well. So those are the 4 books I'm gonna try to get going on. We'll see if I can. I'll be really pleased if I get all 4. Like I said, I've only read 2 books. I read A History of Biology and Richard Dawkins' Books Do Furnish Life. Did talk about that in my January wrap-up video if you want to check those out. But I'm planning on doing some more individual book reviews, so I'm hoping maybe a couple of these, if they really stand out, do some of those as well. Let me know if this is a reading event that you'd like to participate in. If you're going to read a biology book or even just any kind of science book, let me know in the comments down below. I'm always looking forward to what people are reading, especially on the sciences. I feel like nonfiction in general does, I don't want to say it does bad per se, but definitely underrepresented for sure. And I think science is like even farther down on the ladder there, on a lower rung, even among like nonfiction and stuff like that. So I'm always glad to see people reading science and everything. Like I said, join the Discord even if you just want to like lurk and talk about book recommendations and see what other people are reading. And always remember, whether you're reading science or not, read victoriously.